Yeah.
Back to this. What we are doing, we have just arrived in the country of Belize. We are, right now it's 110 degrees. The hottest it got when we were there was 118 with a heat index of 128. I've never been that hot before in my life. The first time I went, it got to 102 with a heat index of 110. This time we had a heat index of 118. I think it's hot when it gets above 84, so that tells you anything. I was hot the whole time, and it doesn't cool off much at night because of the humidity. It just stays hot. So we were hot for 17 days. But we arrived in the country, and this is an open-air restaurant. We left Indianapolis Airport at 5:30 a.m. We flew through Houston and then arrived in Belize City, and we're now having lunch. And this place is called Cheers. But it's nothing like the Cheers that we have seen on TV. You know, we didn't find Cliff. We didn't find what's his name at the end of the road. No. This was what we found was cow foot soup. Work on that. Cow foot soup. Okay, you can go ahead. Beautiful, beautiful country. This is right behind the restaurant. That is, we'll hang here for a little bit. That is cow foot soup, and in the spoon is cow foot. They don't waste anything. There is not one part of an animal that rarely eat meat. It's a luxury to eat meat once a week, and it's usually chicken. But cow foot soup is a delicacy, and you mix it up with rice. We ate rice with everything. I'm just now that was in April, I'm just now getting back to being able to eat rice. Because every day, 3 times a day, we had rice and beans. Or beans and rice, and it's different. Beans and rice isn't the same as rice and beans. Rice and beans is rice and beans all mixed up. Beans and rice is beans in this bowl and rice in that bowl. So I had a hard time getting that straight, but yeah, we ate rice and beans just like they do. You will see men walking with big bags of rice over their one shoulder and a big bag of beans over their other shoulder, and that feeds their family for the week. That's all they can afford. And when we went to visit in homes, they would give us a chicken. I mean a chicken. Not like cooked, not like it was crowing chicken, like running around plucking chicken. And we were told, accept it. What in the world are we going to do with the chicken? Well, we were told what we do with the chicken is we take it to another family. Because that was the most precious thing they had. And they gave it to us. They had no meat the rest of the week. They have one chicken. They can afford, if they're a little more well-to-do family, they can afford one chicken a week. And that chicken runs around the yard until it's time for Sunday dinner. And then the chicken disappears in the trees, and Dad comes back with dinner. So we were given chickens. And what we learned to do was accept them graciously, because that was the most precious thing they could give us. They wanted to give us the best that they had, and that was their chicken. So we would transport chickens from one place to another. It was quite interesting. But cow foot soup is a delicacy there. Fruit and vegetables are abundant, which is great. We ate pineapple taller than me. I'm 5 foot, okay? 6, 7 foot high piles of pineapples by the road, 50 cents a piece. You love that, wouldn't you? Fresh pineapple right off the tree. Coconuts, 25 cents a piece. Coconut, yes, fresh coconut. And I have many, many pictures of them cutting off coconuts off of the trees and giving them to us. Very generous. Okay, go ahead. Now we're eating the cow foot soup. This is our students. They just have arrived in Belize. They've been up since, and a lot of them didn't sleep, just like I did. We had to be at the airport before the security people. I'm not sure why, but we were there. So, okay, go ahead. We're eating cow foot soup. Now we worked in 2 different hospitals. And the reason we did that was one was a government-funded hospital, So we were getting a little snapshot of what healthcare reform is going to be, and the students are not real thrilled about it, to be honest. This particular hospital was a 7-day Adventist private pay hospital. This was more for the more affluent the Belizean people, which means that they had a house. The people that go to the government-funded hospital didn't always have houses. They'd have lean-tos, they had tents, they had boxes, and that's where they would go. So we found this very cute little girl coming in to have blood drawn because she had a fever for over 2 weeks. And so they were drawing blood on her. So we're in the lab now. Now, does this tell you anything? This is the best hospital in the country of Belize. It's a private pay hospital. They have 1 surgical suite. Imagine that, 1 surgical suite. Here it is. Major surgery, shirt and shoes required. Most of the doctors would come in barefoot. But if they went in here, they had to wear at least shoe covers. But a lot of them just, because you think a doctor has a lot of money. Not in the country of Belize, because they're paid by the government. They don't even make as much as a nurse tech in this country, if that helps you understand. A registered nurse in the country of Belize makes about $9 an hour. Now, if we go to buy something, if I take $10 to a store in Belize, I can buy $20 worth of goods, or food, or anything. Our money is double. So does that help you understand? If a registered nurse makes between $8 and $9 an hour, but everything costs double, what they can't afford is more likely. Most of them, and I have some pictures of some houses, and I will show you, 8 or 10 children in 2 very small rooms, or 3 families in 4 rooms. It's just the way they live. They were so proud of this. This was a labor. Any of you that have had babies know what this probably looks like. This is a laboring bed. And they were so proud of it. It was donated by a church in Texas and pulled down. Now, can you imagine me driving down the road and seeing this on a truck? This was going down the road from Texas all the way down to Belize. I didn't bring a map. I should have had a map for you. Belize is in Central America. It's not an island. It is south of Mexico, north of Honduras, kind of in the central part of Central America. So they drove it in a truck all the way down, and they were so pleased with it. But it is outdated by at least 10 years. But it's the best they have, and they were so, so grateful. We're going through the hospital. This is just some of the students. This is their very first day there. They're tired, they're dazed, and they can't believe what they're seeing. They're seeing rusted out oxygen tanks. They're seeing bugs crawling all over the floors. They're not seeing hand sanitizer. If a nurse or a doctor or a tech uses hand sanitizer in the country, they have to provide it themselves. And it's about $5 for a little tiny bottle. We took a lot, and they were so grateful. This is their very first dialysis unit in the whole country. And it's in San Ignacio, where we were. They see about 30 patients a day. And just separate from the hospital, this was built by 7 medical students from Loma Linda University in California. They came and donated their time and their energy and their funds, and this was their project. And now before that, the people in Belize just died. If they needed dialysis, too bad. Or if they could afford to go to Mexico, which wouldn't be very many. But our students got to work in here at least 2 or 3 days, which was great. This is one of the hospitals that we worked at. It is called La Luz. Anyone know Spanish? Not that well? Light on a hill. La Luz is the light on a hill, and it really is. It's up on a hill. We would climb up that hill every day, and you can see this hospital. It's well lit all the way around. There was a church in California that donated LED lights, and it worked and served in this hospital. They have 4 clinics that go out into the villages. Typically, they can see 50 people in a day. With us there, I had 10 females, 2 males on this particular trip, and myself, so there were 13 of us, and we were able to see 300 patients a day with our help every day. So we increased that. And when we saw those patients, we handed out some of the things that you gave us. Do you know how grateful they were for a toothbrush? Do you know how grateful they were for a bar of soap? They hadn't had one in a long time. And toothpaste, 3 families would share a tube of toothpaste. You want to share your toothpaste? We didn't share toothbrushes. When we left the country, we left everything that we could possibly leave that we brought. Toiletries, clothes, shoes, you name it. We left it. All we brought home with us was what we needed to get home. And we took 1 change of clothes because you never know about Houston. You know. Okay. This is, okay, we'll probably have to go to 4 years ago, a hurricane came through and blew a whole end off of the hospital. You can kind of see where it is curved in. That has not been repaired. There's about 10 rooms that are unusable because of the hurricane, and there's no money to repair it. So, and this is the private pay hospital. Okay. Now, while we're in the country, part of it I told you I would explain to you what we do. As well as work with the people, we also learn the history, and we learn to appreciate why the country is what it is. And as I said, I teach intercultural health care, and part of that is understanding why the people are the way they are, and part of that is the history. We also learn to be very culturally sensitive. We also learn not to be ethnocentric. Does anyone know what that word means? You will by the time you leave today, I promise. This is a Mayan ruin. This is one of the smaller ones. And we climbed to the top and we were able to experience the culture. Now, I'm really short, okay? If you haven't noticed, I'm really short. Look at these steps. I don't know if you can tell that they're big. The Mayan Indians, the average height for a female was 4'7", and the average height for a male was 5'2". For Mayan Indians. Look at the steps. And we didn't know why. You know, I'm going up these steps going, oh my gosh, it's hot. You know, it's 110 degrees. Why do they build these like this? Because every step is an altar. We were explained to that as the Mayan Indians climb the ruin, they don't just climb up. You can see us just going right up because we want to get at the top and look out. The Mayan Indians, it took them 4 hours to climb to the top on average because every step they would stop and pray and thank God for what they had. Did we ever do anything like that? Our students just went, wow, oh my gosh, that's amazing. So you know what we did? We didn't do it all the way up, but that first little raise there, steps, we all came down, and then we all stopped at each step. We prayed for all the people back in this country. We thank God for the churches like yours that help support us with donations to give to the people. We thank God for what He'd given us, because we had been there long enough to realize we are so rich. We are so blessed. But we would stop and go up, but that's what they did. It took them 4 hours to climb that because every step meant something different. And they were short. Now I understand why the steps are big. I just thought it was to make me mad. Because I died. And wait till you see the great big one. Here's my 2 guys. Now you can see how big those steps are. The guy on your right is 6'2". He was on the AAU football team. And the guy on the left, that In the country of Belize, remember when I told you how much an RN makes? $8 to $9 an hour. A pair of scrub pants, the cheapest they can buy is $50. Most of it is $50 to $70 for just the pants. I'm not talking a set. A top is $40 to $50. Most of them have to save a very long time to get one set of scrubs. So we kind of put the word out there with our students that were going, and the hospitals that they worked at, or friends that they had were nurses, and we received donations of 50 sets of scrubs, pants and tops. And when we presented those to the nurses and the head nurse, and I have a picture of that in a little bit, of the two guys carrying the bags of all your donations and what we didn't give out in the villages to the hospital and the scrubs, they were sobbing. If you can imagine having to spend at least, at minimum, $100, that would be $200 for us. $200 to have a scrub top and a pair of pants to wear to work, and they barely had one. They couldn't believe it. They couldn't believe it. So when we left, all of us left all of our scrubs that we wore while we were there. And that was, another probably 20-some sets, and they couldn't believe that. But what else could we do? We can come home and buy them for $10, $20, $30 at the most, and what they go through just to get one set. This is part of us sitting out in front of the hospital. Now, this is a different hospital. This is San Ignacio Community Hospital. And every day, you all see them with a little brown bag. Guess what's in a little brown bag? Rice and beans and a banana. Lunch every day. Rice and beans and a banana. And they were in paper cups, and we ate them cold. It's not good. But it's nourishment. They don't look as food as good as being, it's nourishment. It keeps you alive. We enjoy food, don't we? If I go around and ask what you're all going to have for Sunday dinner today, wow. Rice and beans. That's what we have. Rice and beans and a banana in our little bags, all set to go. These were students that went into the hospital to work in the serve. And we were outside waiting for the clinic to open. Clinic opens at 8 o'clock in the morning, closes at 5. Hospital opens, now think about this. The hospital opens at 8 o'clock on Monday morning and closes at 5 o'clock on Friday afternoon. The only thing that's open is the ER and maternity, as they call it. If you have surgery on Thursday, and you probably should be there 3 or 4 more days, Friday afternoon you go home because the hospital closes. Hospital's not open on the weekend. If you have a baby, you're all right, but the whole hospital has one RN and one doctor in the whole hospital all weekend. That's all you get. So we staff the hospital on the weekends. We helped out with that. So we're here waiting for the clinic to open. This is just some of our people working with the Belizean people. Your far left she was born in Belize. Her mother was Hispanic. Her father was a Mayan Indian. So that's her descent. And the next lady over is from Guatemala. She had come over to work because in Guatemala, nurses only make $4 an hour. So she's in the rich country of Belize making $8, she thinks. So there are the bags that I'm talking about. These are full of scrubs. And now this isn't the toothbrushes, the soap and the toothpaste and all the other wonderful things that you donated. This is the Tylenol that they hand out 2 at a time. We couldn't give a bottle. You go to the store and you buy a bottle. We couldn't do that. We give them 2, we give them 4, maybe 6 at the most. And that's what these bags are. The nurse there in the middle of Tyler and Kevin, her name is Aurelie, and she is the head nurse at Bob and Lou's Hospital. She's been there 6 years now. She makes $11 an hour, and she's the head nurse. So she's the high paid, but very, very gracious, very grateful. We're even talking about a co-op online of possibly helping her get her master's degree. That is not possible in the country of Belize. One nursing school, and they graduate with a bachelor's degree, which would be an equivalent of our associate. emergency room. Now you kind of go through these. While we were there is a shortage of blood in the country because the country of Belize is the 6th largest percentage-wise of population with HIV in the world. Now, not numbers, but percentage of population, HIV is the largest. So there's many people that cannot donate blood. So all of us that were able donated blood twice during the 2 weeks that we were there. And this is what we're doing. We're in the lab, and this is the director of the lab and the students donating blood. So we did that so that they had blood that they could use. There's always a shortage of blood because so many people are HIV positive there. This was a little guy that just latched onto one of our students and didn't want to let her go. I thought we were going to have to bring him home, but he stayed there. I told them my goal was, I took 12 of them, was to bring 12 back. I didn't care if it was the same 12, I was bringing 12 back. So they had to behave. One day, each week, I would take one of the students out in front of the hospital and we would just observe. What we saw was more education than we could get inside the hospital. Transportation there is not like what we have here. It's bicycle. If you're lucky, you have a moped. There are broken down pickup trucks. And Janie, right, I heard you were having trouble. Don't go to Belize. About 6 or 8 people would own one truck together. You want to share your truck?
No, thanks.
We don't have to do that. 6 or 8 people, it would take 6 or 8 people to be able to buy a truck. So they buy a truck together, and then it was a game. How many people could you get in the back of the truck? And that's how they came to the hospital. That's how they came to the clinic. How much do you think gas is a gallon in Belize? You think it's a lot here. More than that. Denise said 10, right? 12 to 14. $12 to $14 for a gallon of gas. Well, no wonder they have to all go together. And they have a lot of bicycles and mopeds because that's very efficient. How would you like to pay? Do you feel better about paying 3 something now? Now, I'm talking Belizean money. $10 to $12 Belizean money. Do the math. Multiply by 2. $20 to $24 a gallon in American money is what gas costs there. So I would take a student, we'd just sit out in front and observe. And only a few people were able to come. That's okay, you go ahead. Only a few people were able to come by any type of car or truck. Most of them not. They have what they call the asthma bay. You don't have to check into the hospital. You just come in. If you're breathing weird, they do a treatment, you go home. Nobody assesses you, they don't have time. Nobody does anything, they just say, you need a breathing treatment, then they send you home. And you can see, our students this is how they make their bandages. It comes in a great big bag, donated by hospitals, it's left over from hospitals in Texas, and they have to roll their own bandages. We open nice little packages. We have sterile things. You can imagine, this is not sterile. We did that for them too. We were able to do that. This is the state-of-the-art ambulance. Does that look like the best of the ambulances here? They have 2 in the city, and this is one of them, and it covers half of the country of Belize. And again, this was donated by a hospital in another state. I don't remember exactly, but they're so proud of it. This is the big one. This is the one I was talking about. This took the Mayan Indians 2 days to climb. You see the people on the top? And once they arrived at the top, they stayed 4 or 5 days with only water. In 118 degrees, because that's how they sacrificed their lives to God. And when they came down, they were purified. Think about that. And think about what we do.